We're here with former Viking and Giant and Buccaneer Kyle Rudolph joining us on Media Row. And Kyle, I know like your day's just getting started. We're into these things. We're going back to back to back to back. Because normally it's like, how gassed are you? How tired are you? But you're fresh. You're ready to go.
Yeah, my Radio Row journey is just beginning. So you guys are second on the list.
How excited are you?
It's a lot of fun for me being now in my third season out of the NFL. Super Bowl is an opportunity to see so many people
Sure.
that, it's like normally we see them all the time.
Yeah.
We're playing against one another or playing with one another. You're doing different media stuff throughout the course of the year. So now Super Bowl is kind of like that reunion week where we come back and you get to enjoy it, get to see a lot of people that haven't seen in a long time, most since New Orleans last year.
Yeah.
And talk about incredible stuff like Good Sports and different unbelievable organizations.
A lot of people, especially media people, right? Like this week, everyone loves this week and the circus of Media Row and everything, but it's also, work hard, play harder, right? There's some of the parties at night.
Yeah.
What about for you guys? Are you hitting some of the concerts and the parties and all that?
Yeah, you kind of need like a 10-day window after Super Bowl week and it's like that window's growing since, the early Super Bowls that I went to where you work hard, play harder. You go home at that point, you're watching the game from the couch at home. And, maybe you fall asleep, take a nap or two, and then by Monday you're back to normal. And now it takes me like a week and a half because you burn the candle on both ends.
Oh, yeah.
You're up early, meeting people, seeing people, hanging out with people. You're doing the Radio Row and the different appearances throughout the course of the day. And then you want to go have fun at night too.
Oh, yeah.
And you get up and do it all over again. So it's a great week.
Speaking of great weeks, I've been dying to ask you this. Over the past few years, tight ends have become more and more popular. We have a National Tight Ends Day.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? I mean, I feel like, it kind of started coming up at the tail end of your career. Like, it would have been great to see it perform on that day in your prime. I mean, it's a stellar day for us in the industry, especially I know bettors love to get involved with it too. So fun to watch. How do you feel about that?
It's the tight end touchdown.
Yeah, anytime
parlays.
touchdown for sure.
All of it.
No, I remember the first year, obviously George Kittle was the driving force behind National Tight End Day, and he's been a huge advocate for our position. Went to Tight End U for the first time this summer with Travis Kelce and Greg Olsen, those guys. And it's just cool because it's a position that historically, like if you're a tight end, you're like, well, what? Like we do what the left tackle does and we do what the receiver does against the same people that they have to do it against.
Yeah.
But yet, like, we don't get the respect that a left tackle does or receiver does. And to where the public perception is like, well, yeah, because you're not as big as a left tackle or you're not as fast as a receiver. It's like, well, hold on a second. Like, we still have to do the same thing on 1st and 10 and 3rd and 5. 1st and 10, I got to block the defensive end just like the tackle would. And 3rd and 5, I got to get open against the DB just like a receiver would. So George has done an unbelievable job. Obviously, Trav, Greg, like just highlighting the position. And then so we get National Tight End Day. I felt like I played on Thursday, like the first 2 years we had it. So like they sent us the stuff. We like took the picture with the T-shirts. I'm like, we don't even play on Sunday. We play on Thursday. And then I got one in New York where we actually played on National Tight End Day. I had a touchdown called back. I'll have to review.
No
so that was tough. And then one in Tampa. Yeah, I was just trying to do my part.
Yeah. Is it what happens at tight end U stays at tight end U? Is it that kind of thing?
Well, not this year because Taylor went on stage and obviously that went viral.
Sure.
So what happened at tight end U did not stay at tight end U. That certainly hit the internet and was all over social media.
Oh, man. Well, speaking of the importance of tight ends, I think it's fascinating to watch it offensively develop schematically throughout the past few years. I mean, you might kill me for this, but I am a Chicago guy. So seeing Ben Johnson adapt with the 12 personnel, bring that scheme in. Loveland was an absolute beast this year. You saw Warren emerge, and you have Cole Kmet like on the side of Loveland. I mean, how do you think about those offenses nowadays and really that being adapted and how crucial that is to a lot of these top teams' success?
Well, I think an offense that utilizes tight end, we'll use Chicago as an example because not only did you have Colson Loveland and Cole Kmet, but Durham Smythe as well. Mm-hmm. So you bring Durham up from Miami, who's historically a blocker, but like you put those three guys on the field at the same time as an offense, you can flex Loveland out. He can play the receiver spot, and you're basically running like 12 personnel plays with Cole and Durham, But then if you want, like, no, like, we have another tight end. Come on in here. Let's line up with big people and run the ball. If you're going to match up with us with smaller DBs, we get to dictate what we do on offense, and you can't. Like, if you go big, we're going to throw it all over you. If you go small and try to cover us, now we'll run the ball up and down the field. And I had a coach, Kevin Stefanski. He said it all the time because we used, multiple tight end packages. He's like, if you look at a defensive coordinator's call sheet, the section on his call sheet for 13 personnel is like this big. Like, he's got like 3 calls he can use. He's like, we can call our whole offense out of 13 personnel if we've practiced it. And so it makes the defenses simple. It allows us as an offense to create mismatches where we want to create them. So it's a ton of fun to see, tight ends all across the league playing a lot more and getting more involved.
Like we said, you're a few years out of the league now. You mentioned Travis Kelce. He's still going, and you guys are about the same age.
Exact same age.
So there you go. So he's still at it. I mean, the thing that I always think about, he's one of the great tight ends ever. I'm not going to say he's the greatest, but he's obviously in the conversation.
100%.
And the fact that he is still doing what he's doing, people are wondering, is he going to play again? Are we going to get that kind of, not that they do it in the NFL the same way as the NBA, let's say, but that farewell tour, what have you, with everybody knowing this is the end. The thing that I always wonder, especially when you have Mahomes and you have a Reed and just the Chiefs in general, it's, man, are you trying to bubble wrap the guy for the playoffs? Are you trying to just sort of, a la Rob Gronkowski late in his career there with Tampa, manage the regular season so he's full go when you really need him at the end? What's the approach in Kelce's shoes right now?
Well, I think the biggest thing for Trav is the seasons are long. For him, 13 years. I got 12 in before I was done. I remember after my 12th year, like, I knew I was ready to be done.
Yeah.
Like
physically, mentally, all
mentally, more so for me mentally, because I didn't play much at the end of my career. Physically, I felt great. Mentally, I was done. I knew I didn't want to do it anymore. I wasn't enjoying it anymore. And so veteran players told me this when I was a young guy, like, when Yeah. And certainly he'll take the time this offseason to figure out, Patrick's health is a huge part of it. Is Patrick going to be ready? It's like, certainly he doesn't want to go out there if his guy's not going to be out there. So we'll see. Obviously he'll make the decision that's best for him and his family, and whether he plays again or not, you said he's arguably one of the greatest tight end that's ever played the game. He's put up numbers unlike we've ever seen in terms of consistency over the last 10 plus years. And he'll be first ballot Hall of Famer when he is done.
So clearly you're still feeling good physically. How do you keep yourself active after you're retired? I'm sure as an athlete, you want to stay active and start doing something.
Pick up
a different
football.
Yeah.
No. A lot of golf. Still working out. Still staying active. No pickup flag football. No pickup basketball. I want my Achilles to stay intact. I had plenty of surgeries when I was playing, and I want those to all be behind me.
You speaking of flag football, you're a couple-time Pro Bowler. You were a Pro Bowl MVP, as a matter of fact. Not a lot of people can say that, obviously. But what do you think of what the Pro Bowl has become?
It's a shame, kind of how they're trying to figure it out. I remember my first Pro Bowl, and it was the 2012 season, 2013 Pro Bowl. It was like one of the greatest weeks of my life. It was in Hawaii. You had, Peyton Manning and Champ Bailey and, Hall of Famers galore. I had Drew Brees and Eli Manning. And it's like we were all together at the pool all day long, hanging out. It was a celebration of a great year. And it was a big deal to be there. Like, I'll never forget when I got the call. I replaced Tony Gonzalez, another arguably greatest tight end of all time. So that's how I got my first one, was replacing Tony Gonzalez as the first alternate. But now it's like they're calling guys, and we're getting to the 15th alternate at quarterback because nobody wants to go.
Right.
And it's just a shame.
Shedeur Sanders was a Pro Bowler this year.
Yeah, the Bengals and the Browns had the whole AFC.
Yeah.
Joe was on both teams, and then they had Joe Burrow and Shedeur. So it's just it discredits anyone that had ever been a Pro Bowl before, Pro Bowler before, and like that's not what it's about. It's about celebrating the best of the best in our game, because everyone that's at the Pro Bowl had an incredible season.
Right.
And yes, ultimately the year didn't end the way you wanted, but there's still a reason to go play in this game in Hawaii. I had another one in Orlando that was good too, but that's to me, ever since they moved it from Hawaii, that's where it's kind of gone downhill.
You mentioned Good Sports. What are you doing with them?
Yeah, so I've worked with Good Sports for a little over a year now, and to me, youth sports was such a huge part of my life. And obviously, I wouldn't have gotten to where I did in sports without the resources that, for me, I was fortunate. My dad worked in sporting goods. So although we might not have been able to afford new football cleats every year, new basketball shoes every season, a glove, a baseball bat, all the things that you need to go play sports, like I had access to them through my dad and his job. Well, in today's world, like the cost of participating in youth sports has just skyrocketed. And I think the statistics, like 75% of parents consider taking their kid out of youth sports because of the financial implications alone. And so over the history of Good Sports, they've raised over $130 million for equipment and goods and resources and impacted over 10 million kids. So, are all 10 million of those kids going to go on and play 12 years in the NFL? No, probably not. But they're all going to learn life lessons playing sports as a child that we all did when we played, when things were way different back in the day.
No, I get it. Believe me, as someone who feels like I'm already paying college tuition to the youth sports club
It's
program.
insane.
It's nuts. But Kyle Rudolph, again, thank you so much.
Yeah,
for
thank you
joining
guys.
us,
I
man.
appreciate it.
A lot of fun.
Kyle.
Thank you. Enjoy Radio Row the rest of the week.
Thank you as well.